All right, this is going to be a solution to sunlight, the newest Peter Scharl case, one of the most favourite case authors. And it's a very simple case concept. If we take this grid here, we have a forest input, which can be spilled into a 3x3 grid, and a direction that a sun can shine light into. So one of the cells always has an S. In this example, it shines light to the right. And the numbers represent the height of trees. If a tree is the same height or lower, then it is blocked out. So this one here, this red one, cannot receive sunlight because it's blocked by the taller tree in cell B2. So very simple idea. We need to kind of determine where the sun goes and add up cells that either do or do not get sunlight. So let's get right into it. So first of all, I'm going to import my lambdas, and I'll start with the bonus questions. So what is the sum of all the tree heights in levels 1 to 5? So I have a case questions lambda, and I can specify which levels I want. I want levels 1 to 5, and it will tell me all of the details in those levels. So the first question is to sum up all of these. I have a extract numbers lambda, which just pulls out all the numbers with regex. So I can simply sum those up like so. And then if I say equals sum of all that stuff, then that is our answer, 3973. So let's copy that and paste it into the answer field. Okay, which cell was the most popular location for the suns across level 1 to 5? So let's just quickly do a 2-row address of cells. So address of cells just takes a grid where I place it and gives me the address of the cells. So it's going to give me those. And then I'm going to say text split this on a comma. So that will spill everything out. And then I want to say if that's a sun. So if that equals a sun, then give me this stuff. Otherwise, give me a blank. And what that will do is it will blank out everything other than where the S is, happens to be in this position, A2. So let's concatenate that back together. So all the blanks come to one cell and we get our cell address for the sun. Then we can use our most of lambda to find out what's most frequent, and it's this C2 address at the top. So C2. Okay, the other bonuses appear to require completion of the levels. However, this one actually doesn't. There is a very clever way to do this, which Dim showed me, so I'll show it now. Which cell across all gained in level 5 never receives sunlight? So if we come to level 5 here, we have these arrows and we have a sun somewhere in our grid. So if we could create a grid like this and replace the suns with the arrows and do that en masse for everything, then we'd have all of the arrows for all of the levels on one place, and we can see which cell never has arrows pointing towards it, essentially. So let's first text split this out by a comma, and then let's say if that is a sun. So if that equals a sun, then give us that arrow, otherwise give us a blank. And then if we drag that down the whole way, so this is cell A1, this is cell A2, this is cell A3. So if we combine all those arrows and wrap it back into the shape of the grid, we'll be able to visually see which cell the answer is. So let's say concat unique of this stuff, and let's pull that across here, like so. And then if we wrap that back into the shape of the grid, so we can say wrap rows this by 3, I'll just zoom in here. We can see that no arrows point to this cell here. There's arrows that point out of it, but nothing points into it. So the cell is this one, which is the middle of the grid. B2 is our answer to that bonus. So a very clever way to do that there. B2 is our answer. Okay, great. Now let's do all of the questions. So the first one is simply asking us what is in cell A1. Well, that is the first item in our list. So all we need to do is take the left of our list. These answer files like to have a number rather than text, so we can times it by 1. But in timesing it by 1, we'll get an error where the first thing was an S. So let's just say if error, then give us an S instead for the sun. There we go. Okay, question 2, what is the sum of the heights of all of the trees? We can say sum of extract numbers from here. So that's my lambda that just rips out all of the numbers from a text string. Okay, on to level 3. In which cell of the forest is the sun in? We kind of covered this in the bonus, but I will start to make a model now, just because we're going to use it later. So let's zoom in a bit. Let's first say text split this on that. That gives us all of our numbers and the sun. Let's say wrap rows 3. I want to spill this out nice and visually so we can see what's going on. We have to remember this is all text values at the moment though. So let's say let A be that, and let's times it all by 1. So I'll say if error, give me A times 1, and the value if it's an error is just A, so it will retain what was there originally if there's an error, so that will keep the S's rather than erroring them out. So there's our grid. Then down here, let's say address of cells, and just grab this section here. That will spill out the addresses. And then let's start to do some work. Let's say if this equals an S, give us our addresses, otherwise give us blank. So very much similar to what we did before. We can concatenate it together to just get rid of those blanks, and that is our answer. I have a data table macro here that just fills in the data table and copies all the answers for me. Okay, level 4, the same thing, but the sun now points into a direction and we need to sum up the cells that it points at. We ignore any blocking or shade at the moment, so let's set this up, level 4. So I've carried over the workings from the last level. We have the cell and we have the arrow. So I can use a move on map lambda, which starts here and moves with this arrow, and the multiple is going to be 2. So if we have a 3x3 grid, the most number of steps we can ever do before we hit the edge of that grid is 2 steps. I have an argument to show the path here as well, and there we go. It shows the path from B3 2 steps up to B1. The first one is obviously where the sun is, so let's just say drop 1 row off of that. And then next up, we want to find out what's in these cell addresses on our grid. So it's going to be this 7 and this 4, and that makes sense. The sun here is going to point up into those cells there. So I can say address the contents of these things on this map. However, B2 does not exist in this map at the moment, so I have a reference argument, reference map in all of my lambdas now, where I can reference this map, which is where the addresses are. At the minute that will error out. I do need to fix my lambdas a bit, but if I put a plus in front of this, it will turn it to an array and actually work. That might not make much sense. I need to fix the lambda to always go off the reference map. Basically at the minute it's saying if it's a range, go off of here, otherwise go off the reference map. So I've put a plus there to turn this into an array rather than a range, so it errors out and uses the reference map instead. So we just need the sum of those things. So let's say sum of those 2 cells, that's our answer. Let's use our data table macro, and we can see we've got some errors. So I imagine this is where the cell doesn't exist in our map. So let's say if error, then just give us a 0. And that should fix everything. Let's copy our answers in. There we go, that's level 4. Okay, on to level 5. This is exactly the same thing, but now we're dealing with the blocking mechanic of the light. So let's go to level 5 and do a setup here. Let's just start to label this up so it's clearer to read. Path, height, and we need to follow down this path and check if the next height is smaller or the same as the one before. If it is, then it's blocked. So let's say running max, and let's say scan. We're going to start at 0. This is our array, and we're going to use the max function. What that will do is it will give us a running max down this list. So if I had a 1 to 5 here, for example, then it would start at 4, and then as soon as we hit a higher number, it would jump to that. So it's kind of a running max calculation. Then I basically want this running max to be down here, because then when I compare them, I'm comparing the last cell to the current cell, so the last maximum value. So to do that, I have an array shift lambda. I want to shift by 1 row. And what that will do is it will just shift everything down by a row, and it fills in with an X. I want to fill it in with a 0 specifically, so it will push everything down by 1. Then let's say blocked, and basically if the height is less than or equal to our running max, then it's blocked. So the first one will never be blocked because it's right next to the sun, but I can say if this is less than or equal to our running max, then 1, otherwise 0. So the 1s are the blocked cells. And in level 5, we're actually asked for the sum of all values that do not get sunlight. So the only ones that get the sunlight are the ones that are not blocked here. So we can say sum ifs. We want to sum the heights up where they are not blocked by sunlight. So this is all the cells that are not blocked. Then let's get our total grid value. So if we do the total grid value minus everything that gets sunlight, then we're left with the things that do not get sunlight. So let's put that into our data table, and that should be level 5 done. Okay, level 6 is a similar idea, but the sun shines light in 2 directions instead. So we've already sort of got this set up now, so we can copy these workings. Let's just move this over here for a sec, and let's copy this underneath. Let's just neaten up a little bit, split out our arrows somewhere. So I'm going to say split text of our arrows. That just splits things down into characters. So on the first one, the path I'm going to use is here. On the second one, we're going to start from the same cell because the sun is in the same place, but the path is going to go from the start cell with the other arrow. Then let's move these all up to the correct places, and then hopefully we're good. Technically, I should just lock some of these things for later, so I'll just do that now. Then when I copy it in, I shouldn't have any issues. And now we can extend our sum if to be a bit bigger, so we can do it here, and that should be our answers for level 6. So if you've got it set up correctly, level 6 is actually quite easy. So now we can do a bonus related to level 6. How many times did a tree of height 7 receive sunlight? So basically if there's a 0 here and a 7 here, then we received sunlight. So let's say count ifs. So this is 0 and this is 7. If we put that into our data table and we sum all those up, I can see in the bottom corner the sum is 5. And then level 7 onto the beast. So this one has 2 suns now, labelled S1 and S2, and each of them can see in 2 directions. So we have the setup, it's kind of just expanding on that a little bit. So let's do level 7, and our grid is actually going to be wrapped by 5, so let's do that. And this is also going to come down to 5. Let's just center everything up and make it nice and neat. And then we have our first arrow split there. Let's put our second arrow split underneath. And our path actually now needs to have a multiple of 3. So if it's a grid of 5, we can move in 3 directions. We also need to find our start. So our first cell is going to be S1, and that's fine to be there. So actually we need a path of 4. This should be fine, but we need to extend our map size, like so. Then let's put that in there. Let's change this to be 4. And everything is good. And then we need to do it 2 more times for the other suns. So let's just check. So let's lock some of these quickly, like so. And let's change that to S2. And the path is going to be in this direction and in this direction. And then we should be good, but we need to think about, because we have 2 suns, the sun might be blocked by something but reached by another one. So let's just kind of gather. So let's H-stack this, so all of our places and whether they're blocked. I do actually want to delete these headings, so let's just do that now. This is not the neatest setup, but whatever. So basically, I might have some duplicates here where something receives sunlight in one of the setups, but not in another. So if it receives sunlight, I want to make that known first. So let's say sort that by the second column. So we get all the zeros first. Let's say unique of this. And then let's say xlookup this stuff in here, return here. And then anything that's a 0 receives sunlight. So I'm just going to do this really crudely. I'm going to say xlookup that in 2col of this and return 2col of this. And if it's not there, let's give a 0. But I only want to do that if it equals 0. So if this equals 0, do that. Otherwise, do 0. So this is all the things that get blocked. So it's a sum of 36. So again, let's go sum of the whole grid. And then let's say equals minus sum of this. And then let's add those 2 together. That should be our answer. Let's data table it and hope we are correct. And there we go, that's level 7. So let's just recap that because that was a bit complicated. So I spilled out my 4 paths, I H-stacked them together, and then I sorted by the second one because if it's a 0, it definitely gets sunlight. And I might have duplicates in here. So let's see if I can find an example actually. So here we go, 134 is an example. We have a C5 and a C5. So one of them is blocked and one of them is not. So if it's not blocked, we always need to put that first. So when we do this unique, it finds the 0 and not the 1 to definitely show it gets the sun. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, on to the final bonus. So if the sun is always shining in one single direction for both suns, then what is the smallest sum of tree heights? So let's just pull our arrows out quickly. I have a lambda to do that. And let's say equals that and that to just get our 4 kind of versions. Copy its values, get rid of that. And let's make a kind of bigger data table like so. So let's put our answer there. And then let's say 2 row of these arrows. Let's do that. So I just need to shift everything along a little bit. So let's do that. Let's pull our grids along. And the idea here is that I'm just going to make a bigger kind of data table. So let's put one of our arrows in up here. And let's make this split run off of this. And this split run off of this. And then we should just be able to do data table, like a 2D data table. So question number and the arrow. Let's make sure we get it in the right place. And then we want the minimum sum by column. So let's just sum those up like that. And what's the minimum? it is this 2081 here. So that should be the answer to final bonus. So that's it. Quite a tricky case, actually. Peter Scharl cases are normally on the easier side of difficulty, but I think this one was quite a challenge. I'm curious to see how many full scores there are on this one. I completed it early because I was commentating the live stream. But yeah, I had a mistake here where I kind of tried to sum up everything that wasn't blocked, but I had an if error in there, and I did an if error inside the sum. So if you imagine something like this, I had an if error 0. But if there was ever an error within this sum, the whole thing said 0 instead of just the parts that I wanted to say 0. So I actually ended up losing the odd points from everywhere from level 5 down, which was quite frustrating, but it is what it is. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.